Hello, hello, hello. This is the next installment of Nothing Left to Do But Win presents Life After High School. Uh, Today is going to be a little bit different. I only have one person to interview, and I think his story is very, very interesting. So, without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, party people? I've been away from the podcasting for a little bit, but this is Shaka coming out from. I'm deployed overseas. I'll keep it simple like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. Here to talk about post high school shit. So this should be fun.
It is 7 o'clock in the morning over there, and it is 10 o'clock at night over here, Eastern
Yeah,
Standard Time. So we've been trying to figure this thing out
yeah.
because the time is really, really different.
Yeah.
So we just going to jump right into it
Right.
because I know it's still super early over there. And yeah, so tell everybody what it is
This is my
that you
speed.
do.
I'm a morning person, so it's whatever.
Oh, no, not me. Not
Um,
me at all.
yeah. I'm enlisted into the Air Force. I've been doing this for 19 years and 3 months. Uh,
That's very specific.
been all. I mean, once you're getting to the last, when you're in the last 12 months, it all kind of matters. But anyway, I've
Mhm.
been all over the world, including today. Um, I've done a lot of very interesting missions. Some very very boring, some very very exciting. But all in all, it's been an epic experience, and now I'm at the very much tail end of it all. So life's good. Just continuing to check the boxes and constantly working on my own self development. So yeah, that's what I'm up to these days.
I think that's very cool. I've always had such a respect for anybody who decides to enlist because at one point
Mhm.
I actually wanted to go into the army. But and that was the plan. But when the recruiter actually came to my house to talk to me because I talked to the recruiter in school, and when they came to my house to talk to me, my mom was like, absolutely not. And she literally slammed the door in the man's face. She was like, you're not going to the military. Absolutely not. And
Yeah,
that was something, and I know it was out of fear, but at the same time, it was something that I wanted to do. And I've always
yeah,
kind of regretted not doing it.
yeah. It's always so. I do hear that a lot. Man, I would have joined, but I would have punched that. I would have punched that instructor in the face. Ain't nobody gonna yell at me. That old jargon. I mean, I think for anybody coming out of high school, let's say you're 18 years old, doing 4 years in the military. I guess the investment of it all. If we're just talking about investments, it's substantial. You kind of join a fraternity that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Um, Not only like in your heart, but also in your pockets, as far as like VA disabilities and stuff like that. And you don't have to be
Mhm.
an old head like me and do it for 40 years to get compensation from the Veterans Affairs Office. It's just anybody. You could be in the military for a day, and albeit whatever might happen, you'll be taken care of. I also noticed as far as like safety and people not thinking that the military is dangerous. I mean, it's
Hold on.
inherently dangerous defending the country. When it comes to defense, there's obviously a fighting going on. But I mean, people die every day, B. I mean, people, we've all had
Literally.
friends and loved ones. Yeah, literally, friends and loved ones who have passed away for an enormously weird set of circumstances for thousands of
Mhm.
reasons. So it's hard to just pinpoint the military as just some place to get seriously injured. Now, I would say one thing that is universal to basically any military branch is that the experience is bizarre. Like it's um like my life is literally bizarre. Like what I'm staring at, what I'm looking at, it is all unnatural to the human experience. No one would live under these conditions. Although it looks nice, and it does. But if you walked around where I'm at, you would see that it's actually constructed. It's actually built to fortify for like a missile attack. It's full of T walls. You would. It's full of bunkers. We live in kind of like little huts, and
Mm,
for 6 months at a time, doing this day in and day out, it's bizarre. So for us more experienced ones, we're the ones. Not only do we know how to fight, we also know how to survive in these conditions. So for the new
mm,
guys, there's many new people. Like, hey, this is their first deployment, and they get here and they get like a culture shock, which is completely understandable. But
mm,
beyond like teaching them how to fight, we also got to teach them how to like keep their head right and maintain.
mhm.
I always think of it now that I'm almost 20 years in, it's almost like someone's first time in jail versus the career criminal who this is his fourth time in jail, and he knows what a commissary is. He knows who to have to fuck with. He knows who to fuck with. He already kind of knows the goings on of a jail. Now, granted, nobody wants to be in jail. Ta-da! Nobody wants to be in jail, but um, there's ways to get about it in the most like practical way. So,
Mhm.
it's crazy, man.
So, and you got to think about it too. I graduated in '05. So, post 9/11, there was a lot of fear.
Yeah,
And I think that's pretty much
for
where
sure,
my mother was coming from.
for
So,
sure. Nah, it's yeah.
my next question, was this your initial plan for your life?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So not only did my parents not shut the door on the recruiter, I was 17 years old. They literally had to sign paperwork and kind of give guardianship to the United States government in order for me to join.
Really?
So yeah, when you're 17, you could, but you need your parents' John Hancock on it.
Hmm.
Once you're 18, you can do whatever you want. I don't know how old you were when that situation happened. But you could have just walked your ass to the recruiter station anyway. Just did it anyway. It would have been well within your right. But yeah, so this was a plan I had for a while. I think when I was 16 years old, I decided to take a leap, and I joined in 2005. Yeah, we were about 3 years into the Iraq War.
Hmm.
There was still a lot of uncertainty as far as terrorism in the country.
Hmm.
But my sense of adventure ended up being for my benefit. I absolutely didn't quite understand what I was getting myself into, and I
Hmm.
think the naivete of it all ended up just working out for me a lot. But that goes to a lot of like who I am and my personality. Even to this day, I usually join organizations, join clubs, do weird things out of the curiosity of doing them. And I gain a lot of experience from doing it. When people say they're about to do X, Y, and Z, I always got some fucking story about it because I've dabbled in a lot of things. And I always like to try things. And I never really had I don't know, like my brain isn't designed for much fear. Once I see
Hmm.
something and I'm curious about it, I've always been able to just give it a shot. And if I touch it and I don't like it, well, I did it. I tried it. Not my thing.
I always
But
say you should try everything twice, or
yeah,
you should try
yeah.
most things twice.
You probably should try most things twice. Um, and I think so. Now I'm 37 years old. I've been
Mhm.
in the Air Force longer than I haven't been in the Air Force. Um,
Wow.
and when you think about when you consider literally the day I was born, infancy, childhood, you start getting decent memories at like 6, maybe 5.
Mhm.
So when you start considering that, you start thinking about, you know, what makes you like a nurture and nature kind of thing about who you are and your personality, kind of where your personality comes from. And
Mhm.
I gotta admit, a lot of it has to come from just being in the Air Force. I spent most of my life doing this. I spent
Mhm.
more time here than in Plainfield, New Jersey. But you know, I've been trying to like culminate my career or like my legacy in the armed forces for a while, and I'm starting to realize how the word investment, a monetary phrase. It's a sub part,
Mhm.
but an investment is just putting time away, putting something away, and it's really really hard in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then by the end, it's substantial and it's easy. That's the weird part. You put a little bit of money in the bank now, and you make a 10% return. You're making 10%, making 2% on, let's say, $10. You're only making $2, and you're
Mhm.
broke because you only got $8 because you gave them your $10, right? But on the other
Right.
hand, if you keep doing that, once you have $100,000, now it's
Mm.
easy because when you make 2%, it's $20,000, and you didn't do anything
Mhm.
different. Once you see the tail end of any investment via your physical fitness, your mental fitness, your career, at the tail end of it all, it's substantial and you're really not doing anything. My job is pretty easy. I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
hey, how you doing? Honestly, Sheeta, this is half my job at this point in my career. How you doing? How are you?
Oh my goodness.
You trying to go to school? A good friend and a helping hand at this time. So I'm not working the gates. I'm not on patrol. Uh it's it's air conditioned in my office, If they put me outside for 30 minutes, I'm gonna pass out because I'm not even acclimated to this nonsense. I
So
get to
you
spend my
are
Saturday
easy
morning and
street
stuff.
right now.
You're right. And it's from being on Hard Street for a while. 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I love that because, like I said, I've always had such a respect for people who decide to go into the military because I think it's so much that people don't really know about it. Um,
Yeah.
they just know what they think or what they've heard. And so I've always had a
Yeah.
respect for people who decide to do it despite what they've heard and don't really understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I always imagined that people were like, I guess that people were just getting their heads blown off right, and it was just some Save It Private Ryan shit. I think I would have heard about it. To be quite honest with you, like, have you really? There are moments of great despair and violence, but it's not
Mhm.
like prevalent. It is. It's not prevalent. Not in this day and age. Not in this day and age.
Mhm.
Maybe in the future it might be. It ain't today. But you know,
Oh,
overall, just a lot of fun. Yeah.
it's fun. Well, is it fun for
Yeah.
you because you're at the tail end of it,
Hmm.
or has it
No.
always been
So
fun for you?
there's always been moments. Getting on a plane and going to a foreign country has always been exciting for me.
Mhm.
I've partied all over the world. I know a lot of y'all. Hey, people like, yo, we was in Jamaica. I know nothing about going to Jamaica or any of the Caribbeans, but I've been literally every fucking place else. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I've met so many great people, and then some of the job is really exciting. Like you get to see things blow up all the time. Like, all right, and tomorrow we're gonna blow up that thing. Show up at 0700, and everybody's like, yeah, let's go fucking do that. So it's exciting work. Um, it's exciting to lead and mentor people. So once you get older in the military, your job changes to more of a mentor and an instructor, a leader of programs. Um, you know, yeah, it's been fun. It's really been fun. I've enjoyed 85% of this whole nonsense for sure.
Now, what made you choose the military over college or trade school or anything like that?
Um, the military, I knew at my young age that I didn't know anything. I knew that. And the
Knowing is half
military
the
would,
battle.
yeah. So at a minimum, I understood that the military would provide structure.
Mm-hmm.
I knew basically that every military unit, and I didn't know these phrases at the time, but every military unit has someone in charge and there's a job to do, and there will be people in the middle to help me get better at my job and so on and so forth. College is similar, because but there's no one holding your hand to go to
Mm-hmm.
school or to perform well. So that
Mm-hmm.
part's on your own. And I understood I maybe not didn't have the mental ability to do it. And let's not forget, I'm not going to get too much into it, but I didn't graduate out of high school at 15 years old because I was a genius. You know what I'm saying? That part didn't happen. So if I knew there was going to be some type of structure, and I know college didn't have that, and also I would have had to pay for college. At least I generally understood student loans and having to pay for college. Whereas now,
Mm-hmm.
in the grand scheme of things, I have my master's degree, and I may have spent $200.
Say what?
Yeah, I mean, it's generally free. I think I had to pay like a $50 lab fee once, and I think I bought like a book like once. But yeah, I from from a GED all
Mm-hmm.
the way to my master's degree probably ran me about $200.
So wait a minute. When you
Essentially,
said that, you meant all of it, like not just getting your master's degree for $200. You mean like all of it?
all of it. And also, I mean, if you add the Pell Grant that I received during my undergrad degree, they were actually giving me money. It's beyond the intrinsic value of it all monetarily. I made a profit. I made about $1,500 every class when I was getting my undergraduate degree. The benefits of the military are staggering.
I hear that a lot. My cousin,
Staggering.
she did 4 years in the army, and she went in, she did her 4 years, she came out, and she was able to buy a house. She was able to go to college. She was able to do so many things for just 4 years
Yep,
out of her life. So
that's it.
for four
It's an
years, she's
investment.
set for the
So for
rest
all
of
you,
her life.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. For all you young guys out there, young guys and gals thinking about what to do after high school, I don't mind if you Cheetah, when we're done with here, if you don't mind, I'll send you my email address, and I don't mind anybody hitting me up and asking me questions.
mm.
For specifics, I'm going to say call your recruiter, but I'll talk to you about the lifestyle in general, because that's usually the answer.
Mm.
Like, we'll just call the recruiter, and he'll hook you up. Like, yo, you know a guy, you know a dude in the air. Like, no, it's not how it works. Um, But yeah, the benefits are good. The VA gives out has zero down payment mortgage loans,
Say what?
and I thought that was cool. Zero down payment mortgage loans, so you can buy a house, a $400,000 house, and you can pay zero money down.
I know you lying. Now,
No, I'm not.
she did say
Man,
that, she did say that, because of her benefits, she was able to get a house and she was able to, get a decent house. She only has one child. So she was able to
yeah,
do a lot of things, to fix up her house because she didn't have to pay what everybody else paid. But I didn't know
yeah,
that part of it. That,
yeah. And there's no private mortgage insurance. I know an 18-year-old. I'm like making an 18-year-old fall asleep, but yeah, there's no PMI. It's a zero down payment. Um, it's a great deal. It's a good deal. It'll skyrocket anybody who is in, I would say, near the poverty line into a hard middle class existence, essentially for the rest of your life,
and that's what
if you play it right. People are stupid. Yeah. What's up? What's up?
your internet is going in and out a
Q,
little
you say
bit.
something?
Can you hear
Oh
me?
no, I hear you just fine.
I, okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. I never lost. I never lost it.
Okay. You sure you can hear me?
100%.
Okay. Because your internet is going in and out. I just figured it's because you're on the other side of the world. Whatever.
No,
Mhm.
I never lost you for a minute. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Um,
But what were we talking about? What was I saying?
um, I think it's like you said, it's an investment. You give
Hmm.
as little as 4 years of your life, and you set up pretty much for the rest of your life. I think it's what
Right.
USAA or something like that. Um,
Yeah, it's one of the military friendly banks out there. Yeah.
and she was saying that just because she went into the service, um, she can pass that on to her daughter and things like that. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
that is, I think that's why I say for 4 years of your life to be set for the rest of your life, I don't think
Hmm.
that's a bad investment.
Not a bad investment at all. Not a bad
Uh,
investment at all. Uh, you gotta know what you're doing though.
mhm.
There's definitely a lot of competence to take advantage of all the military benefits out there. So, um, I mean, I'm sure and God bless their hearts. There's a lot of knuckleheads out here that are veterans, and they'll just talk bad about it. Oh, they don't hook me up. I don't do this. That ain't true. This ain't true. Yeah, I mean, it's not true if you don't,
If you
if you
don't
don't
know
play
how
it
to
right.
work it, yeah.
If you don't know how to work it, or you don't ask the right questions, or you just never dare to research it.
Mhm.
Um, the biggest thing is like we're in an information age. You can just look
Mhm.
things up. You can find
Like
information on
Google is
TikTok.
right
You
at
can
your
just
fingertips.
and hey, Google is if Google is too much for you, which is fair, you can hop on YouTube and you see a 7-minute video like, oh, I didn't know that. Or you can see a TikTok and you can follow somebody on TikTok and just Google or just like TikTok like military benefits, and you'll probably see a multitude of videos that'll put
Mhm.
you in the right direction. But even here, even in this profession, people like to just sit back and wait for something to happen. There is still, you got to go out and get it. There's still, um, you know, everybody in the military is successful. I'll put it that way.
Mm,
You know, it's not like some automatic success thing. Like
mhm.
I have full confidence post retirement that I'm going to be successful as fuck because I'm confident in my abilities more than I am just confident in the infrastructure that is the government. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's many people like some people. Well, I'm in the military and their life sucks. Some people are not in the military and my life sucks.
And their life
I'm in the
sucks.
military. Yeah, it's like it's all over the place, and I don't know, but yeah, it's there's a lot of benefits, a lot of things to get into, and it's a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, it's win-win in many situations, and especially in the Air Force, it's win-win. You live good, the benefits are the same, whether you're in the Army or the Air Force, same
Mhm.
benefits. So you should
Now,
probably join the Air.
I've heard, now I don't know how true it is. I've heard
Mm.
that the Air Force is one of the more laid back branches, or maybe a little easier than, say, the Army or the Marines. Is that true?
In its own little way. Yes, true.
Mm,
Now, as far as laid back, so I'll put it this way: there are this goes into the identity of all of these different branches. I'm actually teaching a class on this in about a week, so you're going to be my test student, right? So people say people like to say like you ask a Marine what they do for a living, and they say I'm a Marine. You ask a soldier what he does for a living, he says I am a soldier.
mm,
But if you ask an airman like me, they usually say something along the lines of I'm in the Air Force,
mm,
right? So I'm a Marine, I am a soldier, I'm in the Air Force. I what I do is that I am in this organization. But as the
mm,
Marines basically say, I am the organization. So there's a identity difference in it.
mm.
Now, to the Air Force's benefit, to the Air Force's credit, let us not forget, no one says I'm in the Foot Locker. I'm in the IBM. There is a level of identity that we do have. It's
Mm,
just not as big as theirs. It's just not as
mm,
mentally prevalent. So we do have a sense of service. There is a sense of belonging. It's just not to their level. But okay,
mm,
so as far as it being more laid back, that much could be true. So especially in our profession, our professional jobs, the doctors, the lawyers, um, doctors, lawyers. Let's use them for an example. If you go into a medical facility, the doctors are usually the highest ranking and they're in charge. But how they become
mm,
military doctors is that they're actually real doctors and then they join. So they spend 8, 9 years in medical school. They're doctors. And
mm.
then they join the Air Force. So they bring a
They
lot of
just,
their culture. They bring a
mm,
lot of their culture into it. And they don't have to deal with firing weapons or anything like that. They just got to make sure that we are physically fit. And so they take their staff, like the people who work for them, they bring their culture from the outside world in. So there's a lot of first name basis stuff. There's a lot of more laid back stuff. It's just more lenient, especially in the professions, so to speak.
hmm.
And
So
you said
is
what laid back? You said easier. I don't think it's easier though. It's not easier. It's different. This is the it depends on your personality. Some people like if I'm going to deploy, I'm going to deploy. I want to eat dirt and stuff like that. And they can't they don't do a good job serving their country
mm,
and it being nice.
mm,
They don't it's I think it's weird for some people. Like I told you before the video started, there's a swimming pool right there. The only reason I'm not in it is because I'm here with you. This there's
not a bad way to spend your Saturday morning.
not a bad day. It's been Saturday morning. I'm gonna tell you something when I get when we get off, I'm gonna tell you something. Just remind me because I don't want to like pinpoint my location. But yeah, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cool stuff. There's a lot of interesting, beautiful things, and yeah, it's different. It's more relaxed. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
time. You should join the Air Force.
So that was
Everybody.
my next question. It's safe to
Or
say you would recommend it.
100%. The Space Force is coming up. The Space Force's birthday is today, actually. Today is the 5th year of the Space Force. And I would also recommend it because I've heard really, really good things. And I think it's really interesting to be in the forefront of a brand new branch of service. That shit sounds exciting to me. What's up? What'd you think about?
What what exactly, now I've heard of this, but what exactly is the Space Force? Like I've never really looked
The
into
Space
it. I didn't even think it was a real thing for real.
Oh no,
So
it's
what
real. The
exactly
Space
is
Force is
that?
real. So honestly, the I think the way you're thinking about it is the way people thought of the Air Force back in 1947 when we first became an organization. Like
Mhm.
what do you do? Were you flying planes all the time? Like is everybody pilots? You guys all pilots? Like and now you completely understand that's not how it works. So the space so just think of it think of the ground, think of the air, think of space, and also think of technology. Those are all different domains. And think of the
Mhm.
water, the sea. These are all domains that the fight can land.
Mhm.
Space is becoming a new domain. Not, and we're and it's they're not talking about intergalactic space fighting.
Because
They're
that's where my
talking
mind went.
about
I'm not even gonna lie. That's where my mind went.
which is fair. What's up, brother? Which is fair. Which is fair. But a more realistic scenario would be like China moving a satellite over the eastern seaboard and cutting off our technology all the way from Maine all the way down to Miami
Okay. Now, okay.
via
I
space.
didn't think about it like that. I didn't think
Yeah,
about it like
and
that.
that's a closer analogy to thinking of maybe a Star Wars or a Star Trek kind of scenario. People just living out in space. Oh, I'm deploying to the moon, y'all. You know what I mean?
'Cause
I got
I,
homework I gotta knock out. Hey, if you're trying to go to school, man, you gotta go to space school. Nah, it's not like that.
okay, now I have more of an understanding because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. I get it
Right.
now
But yeah, they're
because it
5 years
definitely.
in. So the newer, I say the newer the better. So I say if you got a chance to join the space force, that'd be crazy. I say do that. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Okay. So now that you've been in, the military for so long, uh,
Yeah.
would you would you go back and do it all if you had it to go back and do all over again? Would you still do it, knowing what you know
Absolutely.
now?
Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. I wouldn't have changed a thing. I'm glad that I'm glad I got promoted the way I did. I'm glad I got promoted the times that I did. I'm
Mm,
glad I didn't make rank too early. And so no, I wouldn't have changed anything. If I would have changed something, then I would have gotten promoted at a different time. I wouldn't have if I yeah, moving to Florida initially, meet my wife, moving on and doing all the things, the timelines. It was it was a perfect experience. The I've 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 been given a life of fulfillment, a fulfilled purpose this whole way through.
mm.
I wouldn't have done dick. I wouldn't have done a motherfucking thing different.
So I mean,
No regrets.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Um, and I love what you said about when you talked about getting your master's degree in the military versus going to college traditionally. Now, we just talked about this on the last episode. Um, I don't know if you know Shani, but she said she went to
Yeah, I do.
school. And, yeah, she said she went to school and she got her master's degree.
Hmm.
And she had a lot of debt, financial debt, because of, she went the traditional way,
Hmm.
student loans and all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I always say college isn't always the best option. There are
Yeah.
so many other things that you can do. There are all different kinds of trade schools, and there are so many different things. I think that now, me personally, I think that
Hmm.
18 is really young to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Um,
Yeah.
Now, like me, I took some time off because I knew that I didn't want to go to college. I say all the time, I had undiagnosed ADHD. So, going through school was really tough for me. And I cheated most of my way through. So I knew college was not, I
You got to
knew
do you.
college wasn't for me. Uh, and
Yeah.
there are so many other things to do. I had a list of all the different things you can do, like versus not just the military that was on my list, but all different types of trades that don't
Hmm.
require college. Now, you are going to have to
Okay.
do additional learning, but that don't necessarily require college. You could become an electrician, an elevator mechanic. That one was a little shocking to me. I didn't know that was a thing. You could be a flight
Yep.
attendant, a police officer. Now, this
Somebody
one
got to.
was
Somebody got to build. Somebody got to fix them. Yeah.
um, you can be a pilot without college. So I'm like, you can really be an airline pilot without college? You do have to do a lot of additional training, but not necessarily a 4-year college. But there is some additional
So you.
training.
So it'd be just a pilot. Period. Like to fly a
A
plane, you don't
pilot.
need a bachelor's degree, right? Yeah.
That,
That
that's
makes. That kind of makes sense. Makes sense.
that's what my research said. Now, Google could be
Yeah.
wrong and those other websites could be wrong, but that's what it's, you don't
Yeah.
need a bachelor's degree to become a pilot. And I'm just like, that
Yep.
I feel like that might be one of those things where you might want to go to college. Because I mean, we're talking about
Yeah.
an aircraft. Like, um, that's
Yeah.
not like
But I
driving
think
a
you.
bus.
Yeah. I think to be a pilot, I think there's like I don't know. I'm sure there's like a FAA license, so you got to actually. There is a
Mhm,
school that does take some accurate to get through, and I'm sure you got to take lessons and pass classes. So I think there's
mhm.
what's up, brother? I think it's got to be some way to make that safe. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah,
either. But I
you
guess it
don't
lines
need a
up.
degree to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like I've always said, like me, when I became a CNA,
Hmm.
I wanted to do it 18 years ago. I was pregnant with my daughter,
Yeah.
and back then it took 6 months to become a CNA. And once the class started, I was 6 months pregnant. I was like, you know what? Uh, I'm not doing a damn thing because I was super pregnant and I just had no desire to do it. But
Yeah.
here I am 18 or 17 years later. I'm doing the thing that I set out to do back then. And now it only takes 6 weeks to learn it. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I do think that it was better that I waited until now, because had I
Yeah.
done it then, I don't think I was in the right space to do it then. But now,
Right.
my children are older. I've, I've lived the life, I've raised my children, and now I'm in a better place to have done it. Because, when I took the course, I had just gotten hurt. I was working at the airport, and I had just gotten hurt on the job, and so I was out on workers comp just doing nothing. And
Mm.
somebody posted to Facebook that the class was free and they give you a job at the end. So I'm like, I ain't doing shit else. Why not? And I took the
Yeah. Yeah.
course, and I really enjoy what I do. And I said all that to say, I don't think there's any anything wrong with waiting and trying to figure it out. Some people just know, like you knew you wanted to be in the military, like you knew. But for those
Yeah.
that don't know, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you
You
need a
shouldn't.
little extra
Yeah.
time to figure it out.
100%. Yeah. Just because you don't know what you want to do doesn't mean you should have like great despair or anything like that.
Hmm.
It's just part of the process. It's just part of the process.
Hmm.
Um, but on the counter, there is something to just taking an adventure and taking that leap forward. You never know what's on the other side of it. You never know what's on the
Hmm.
other side of it, and that's the adventure part of it. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there and uh, so I'm on team. Just take risks. Take the
Right.
risk. Go out there, shoot it. But yeah, life's always a gamble. Um, you just gotta pick your spots. You gotta pick your spots, man.
Because, like they said, like we talked about on the last episode, you either win or you learn. You either enjoy what you're doing and
Yeah,
it'll be the best decision of your life, or you learn that this is not for you and it's time to try something different.
right, for
That's it.
sure.
That's all. Um, but I enjoyed this interview. I
This
think
was fun.
for, for anybody who is considering the military, there was a lot of information. And after this, I think they can decide whether it's for them or if it's not. And like you said, you're in the Air Force. But even if the Air Force is not for you, um, you can explore the other branches of the military. Because from what it sounds like, it's a shitload of benefits for just a little bit of your time. Now,
Yeah,
you've been in for quite some time. Now, does
yeah,
that, the
19 years.
question I do have, um, does do the benefits change with the amount of time that you're in? Do you get the same benefits at 4 years versus 19 years?
That's a good question. So there's only one. Ooh, okay. So the biggest difference between someone that does first off, I get a pension.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get a monthly stipend from Uncle Sam for the rest of my life. The second
For the
biggest
rest of your life?
thing, yes, ma'am,
Hmm.
every month, and it also goes up for inflation every year. So it's not like $2,000 and it's just gonna be $2,000 for 40 years. Every year I'll get a little percentage bump with inflation. So
Hmm.
it literally keeps me at a particular lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
forever. Um, the second thing, and honestly, this is the first thing with the more research I'm doing, my healthcare is substantially lower. For a retiree, my healthcare is going to be $60 a month, and that's with me and my family.
Wait. You said
Yeah, I know.
$60 for your
60
entire
a month.
family?
Yeah, healthcare.
If
I know.
you
I know.
if you didn't
I know.
decide to
I'm
do it for
shopping.
nothing else, that would be the
Right.
reason.
Yeah.
That would be the
It's
reason.
I have been doing some shopping. I do see how the other side is living, and you guys all scare the shit out of me. But yeah, $60 a month. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
because
big that.
people.
Those are the only. Yeah, and there's a it looks good on your resume. You did 20 years. You had a job for 20 years, and you kept it, and you left with honor. That's cool.
Mhm.
And there's just a lot of different experiences. But as far as just straight up compensation and like benefits, that's the two biggest differences. You can still get a pension, it's called VA compensation, just for doing 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in the military. You can still get your VA loan. On Veterans Day, you can still go to Applebee's, all that stuff. But once you retire, the two biggest things is health insurance and you just get a pension. every year, every month,
Mhm.
forever.
For the
And
rest of
that's
your life.
the rest of my life. So I know I see a lot of people on social media,
Mhm.
well-to-do folks, and they always talk about you got to get different streams of income and stuff like that, which is fair, which is right. But
Mhm.
that's a stream of income, and I'm very very young, so again, this is another
You can still do
testament to
other
just
things.
I. Some people figure out what they want to be when they grow up now, like, and God bless them for it. God bless them for it. But I'm at the age of 37, I'm more than capable of putting in a second career and have it be something completely different. I'm still collecting this check, and I'm still collecting this one, and it's yeah, like I said early on, it's not a lot, but after a while it gets weird and it's easy.
It gets weird and then it gets easier.
Yeah, like the benefit, like the things just start to stack up, and you're not sweating your ass off. You're not grinding your ass off, and
Like you
you know,
said, you got an air conditioned office.
yeah, yeah,
Oh man. Like I said, if you had any reservations or weren't sure about the military, I think after this interview, you'll have a little bit more clarity, uh, because you gave a lot of information today,
yeah.
things that I would have never thought of
I mean,
at
I'm
all.
here to please. Hmm.
Now,
Here to
the,
please.
the
Here to
sixty
please.
dollars, the $60 medical for what's your family size?
And let me just add.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wouldn't matter, but the answer is four. It's me, my wife, and my two children.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was me, my wife, my two children, and Ricky, still would have been $60.
That is awesome.
And just to be clear, I'm kind of like, oh shit, $60 because it used to be free. It's free now, so I don't pay for health insurance. But when I get out, it's $60. So even like for me, I'm like, ew, why y'all doing me like that?
While everybody else is paying $600.
Yo, what is up? Why is that a thing? This is crazy. This is nuts.
Yeah, people are literally dying because they can't afford to get well. I
It
see it
is
all the time in the nursing homes. Uh, People are literally dying because they can't afford the
afford
proper
it.
care, and that's really sad.
They can't afford to live. Damn. Yeah, it's something else. I don't want to get into politics. I already said I'm in the military. I'm not gonna mix this interview. We won't do it. I've been in for too long to know how to not to do that shit. So
You've been in it long enough to know what not to say.
yeah, and then we're not getting into politics today. But nah, this was great.
I very much
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah. Anytime if when you I guess whenever you post it, you can go ahead and put my email address on here. And if people
Hmm.
want to contact me, or you got anybody that's interested and wants to hear different sides of it and different stories, I definitely you're gonna see. I mean, if you ever reach out to military veterans, you're probably gonna hear a lot of people that have horrible experiences, and their
Hmm.
experiences are valid because it's their life and it's their experience. But I can't sit here and say that I haven't enjoyed all of it, and I guess I'm a positive experience you can you can listen to. Because yeah, I mean, I've got friends who they've had tough goals of it. You know, you know, it's nice to hear a perspective of a good story. See the sun shining. Life's good. You know what I mean?
And now you about to go get in the pool on a
I,
Saturday morning.
I'm not about to get in the pool. Once we get off this camera, once we stop this show, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing today. But yeah, it's even cooler than the pool. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for doing this interview. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, I think the young folk that don't have any direction, like this is something that they can consider. And, they've got a little more insight on it.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't have direction, you could. And honestly, if you're 18-year old and you have direction, let me have your phone number because I need to talk to you. All right.
If you
If you
got
got it
this
all
thing
figured out at
figured out.
18, nigga, I need to talk to you. I need your mentorship.
Right. So I'm
Crazy.
gonna pull you down. Like I said, thank you for doing the interview. I super appreciate it. Okay, let me pull you down. So this has been another really good episode of Life After High School. What's next? And when we get off, I am definitely going to get his email. And if you need to contact him, go ahead and do it. And as I stated earlier, if you don't know what it is that you want to do directly after high school, it's okay not to know. Take some time and figure it out and, go from there. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.